Hey guys, I want to show you something. So let me see if I can do this. Can you see this beauty? Oh yeah. This is what we're going to be playing today. This semi-scalloped T-style guitar. And because we've been shredding so much recently, I really want to take the time and try to get things down in terms of tone and just be precise in technique. I think that might have been something that I haven't emphasized enough in my shredding sessions. So hopefully it'll be a little bit of a softer session. I'll probably get some shred requests as usual, but hopefully also a bit of soft playing and just taking the time to warm up properly. That's something I occasionally miss. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. Tune in and let's go. It's a little tricky when experimenting with angles, but it's well worth the effort. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna do this now. You ready? Time to freaking do this. And yeah. Okay, that's enough for the shaking. Man, here's a little practice beat for you. And as you can tell, this one is grooving. Again, that is to emphasize groove, feel, and rhythm rather than just raw speed, which is fine as well, but it's not for today. Let's try it. Can do that, E minor. Hey there from Venezuela, how you doing, Danny? Your fifth day. Yeah, fifth day in a row. That's pretty crazy. So Keys are on Instagram. We've been able to catch each other 5 days in a row. That must be some kind of streak, or at least after 1 week. I have to celebrate that, playing a little bit extra fast. I know you like that, Keys are. Oh, you see, I'm messing up already. So, slow and precise. Let's do this. I'm in E minor, you can tune in. It's gonna sound like D minor to you because I'm using D standard tuning. Yeah, Mikey from Holland, how you doing, man? And thanks for loving my scalloped neck. It's actually my first semi-scallop that I did myself. I'm very happy with it. Part of it is because I get so many comments in my shorts. People are like, whoa, he played so much, the fretboard got worn out. No, did you, Kizar, did you send me the link to that song? By the way, can you hear by now that this is a little bit different? Epico Dress, what's up? In fact, this is more demanding. I can't really speak while playing this. You might have noticed in my previous streams that I was just noodling mindlessly while speaking to you guys. I'm not going to be able to do that quite as much here. Hi Rankit, what's up? Elijah, sorry, I don't know any cover songs. John, hey there. Are you speaking Norwegian? Är det svenska, norska, danska? It must be Norwegian. Det måste vara norska va? Hopper vi? Det är kul. Hej! This is also very challenging to be able to play tapping with a bit of a groove to it and with more interesting rhythm than just, you know, playing fast up and down. So that's also something we need to practice here. I need to practice it, and you can do it with me if you want to. Hey there, Goopsen, and hey there, Slavic username, which I cannot pronounce. Let's try it. From Turkey, what's up? Hussein, sorry, I don't read Arabic and I don't understand it. Dave, what's up? Yes, you should buy an acoustic guitar. I can definitely recommend it. I have both an acoustic guitar with steel strings and like a classical guitar with nylon strings. I haven't been shopping acoustic guitar for like 2 decades, so I can't tell you any brands, sorry. Yes, I do improvise all the time, even when I practice like this. I don't understand what SIM means, SLM. Avid Cirker, what's up? Hey buddy, we got Antonio here from Instagram. Antonio from Italy, was that it? Here is Brazil. So are you from Brazil but speak German? That's interesting. I don't think I've ever done this, like tapping the swing groove to it. It's very interesting. Italy but watching from Finland, that's pretty cool. That's a nice mix right there. So we're pretty close to each other then. Are you in Helsinki? I'm in Stockholm, Sweden. By the way, what are you doing in Finland? Is it work related? So to YouTube and Facebook, I'm speaking to Antonio on Instagram. So I'm trying to convey the conversation to you guys. Herzlichen Glückwunsch, mein Freund, du spielst sehr gut. So Diamond Vargas, if you're translating, you should translate to Swedish, not to German. If that's what you're doing. But you can also try in Spanish or English. So maybe I'll understand. Thank you, Kizar. I'll check the song out. Oh yeah, that's true. Portuguese in Brazil, sorry. So I have no chance of understanding Portuguese at all, sorry. Music perfect, thank you, Goopson. So here's another example of how I'm working on my runs a bit slower now. Trying to sort of feel every note so I have a chance of maybe hitting the occasional note harder. So thank you, Diamond. Thank you so much, man, for the compliment. Kaio, this is a Telecaster style guitar. It's a T-style guitar by Fujigen. So it's called Fujigen Iliad Standard. Pablo Verli from Brazil. We got 2 people from Brazil, I think, now. You know each other by any chance? Big country, I realize that. Brian Mark, ballad backing track. That's a cool request. We can definitely play a little bit over a ballad backing track. It would have to be, I think I have some cool one on GMC as well. Let's try a ballad backing track on GMC. Wisconsin, not so bad. I've heard of worse. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna find a ballad here. Let's see. So we have some. There's a really cool one I like here. Yes, rock metal ballad. This is a nice one. It's gonna be in B minor. I don't speak Turkish, sorry. Oh, you learn how to play For the Love of God, Steve Vai. Well done, man. Don't speak Turkish. Don't push me. So it's a good opportunity to try those tapping lines in a context. Pretty nice, B minor. Brian, Mark, some legato. Let's try it. Bit of legato for you there. Mitihan, what's up? Ah, Dukes. YouTube's best guitarist, you're too kind, man. Hello there, how you doing? Duke, where are you from? Remind me. Canada, cool. There's a country I've never been to. Would love to go there. Just, I'm a big fan of outdoors and wilderness, and you got some there. Problem is, we got too much for me to ever explore in a lifetime here in Sweden as well, so. But who knows, maybe someday. Or you come here. Oh, buried in snow. We've been this winter, but now it's finally easing up. Pakistan, cool. I've never been to neither India or Pakistan, or I think closest in the region is probably China. Would love to come there sometime. Tiago, esas frases rápidas. Yes, trying to phrase here. Let's do it properly. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I have to cut my right fingernail or I won't be able to do this. Sorry to disrupt. There we go. This is gonna simplify tapping quite a bit. Okay, we got a third from Brazil. Brazil is dominating. Scott Petri, I'm trying here. Good to see you again, man. People in Pakistan will love you as if it is your own country. Ooh, very, very tempting. I'm also a big fan of spicy and non-Swedish food, so that could be something. So this backing track is a little improvised, so I hope levels are okay. I didn't anticipate doing this backing track. Oh, messed up. Sorry, cooked beef. I don't know anything about the cork guitars. I've seen some what appears to be great guitars, chord by chord, played by great players, but I've never tried one. Really can't help you out there. This is a Fujigen Iliad standard guitar. Fujigen is a factory where a lot of the Japanese Fender and Ibanez is done. It just struck me that I could bring in some daylight while there still is. Just a second, let me open the window here a little bit. Oh, here's a nice backing track as well. We're gonna play with this one. Here's the guillotine when you want to chop someone's heads off. I think that's going to improve the lighting a little bit. Cool, you have a Japanese Telecaster made in the same factory. That's cool. Cool, we got a good question by Brian Mark there. How to build solos. And we got a question, I think, about Mixolydian, probably Mixolydian. Giagalo on Instagram. Can you ask in English? So how do you build solos? We're in E major, I think. Maybe not. Like G sharp minor. Okay, so first of all, I should probably say that my average live stream solo is not really a good example of how to properly construct solos, because they're very shred oriented and just a lot of fast notes. That's not how you construct a solo. No one really wants to hear that unless you're in a guitar oriented live stream, which we are right now. So if we're speaking about more of like building a musical solo, I would encourage you to start thinking about things like melody and lead motifs. And it's not as fancy as it sounds. Just try to find just a couple of notes that you play in a particular way. It can be a bend, it can be a particular type of phrasing, and see if you can repeat those notes, maybe with different endings, you know. So like. Again. Now that sounded like crap, but we can try to find a better motif. Down, 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 down. How can I keep that but elaborate on it? A little bit of like a call and response. But I keep the same motif one more time, or keep going rather. Now you could argue that this is boring, and maybe you'd be right, but I was just trying to simplify things and keep a very simple motive here. Once you get better at that concept, you can still, make it very energetic and shreddy and all that. But if you don't have like a melodic motif as a foundation, you won't be building a nice solo, and that's what the question was about. So I would really encourage you, find a few notes that you do something with, like a particular bend, or maybe let one ring and play the other one short, just something that adds a bit of character to it. Repeat that, add a variation, keep repeating, and before you know it, you're going to build a solo. Let's try it a little bit more. It's better if you bend in tune. My note choice is not the best, but the motive is there, it repeats. Okay, same motif, but I moved it up. Let's see if we can move it down. And then you can add that stuff in between, and get back to your motif. And every opportunity, get back to your motif. That's gonna make it sound like a solo, failed on that. And you're going to find that if you start with a repeating motive, even if you add a lot of shred at the end of that, like I did here, it's just going to make more sense because you conveyed something musical that the listener might actually remember, or that the listener can hum, or that the listener can somehow connect to. Very few people connect just to, like this. It looks cool, it sounds a little bit cool maybe, but people don't connect with that. So if you want to build a solo that makes sense to people, you really have to do the motive thing. Bend out of tune. So I hope that makes sense. I think that's probably the most important thing. You can add all the shreddy stuff you want on top of that, and that's all fine. But if you don't have that melodic foundation, it's just gonna sound like crap. Okay, sorry, that was a long one, so I probably missed a lot of comments here. So let's see here. Hey man, love your videos. Thank you, Charlie. Did you scallop your guitar yourself? Yeah, most of them. But you're asking me about the red Strat. I did not scallop that myself. That's a luthier's scallop, like medium shallow. You wanted to tell you about the guitar. It's a 50th anniversary reissue, American Deluxe Strat. It has swamp ash instead of older. And it's actually in pretty much stock configuration except for the scallop. Even though I tried a million pickups, I ended putting the SCN's original factory pickups back in it, so I could also have the S1 switch. I think Fender did a good job with a versatile guitar there. It's not twangy, but it's awesome for cleans and shred and rock, So, but if you want a bluesy, twangy Strat, that's not it. Then you should go for like a 6-point tremolo or something like that. Sorry, Juicy, I don't play any cover songs. I apologize, but it just bores me to death. It's not what I want to do. It doesn't stimulate my musical inner self. Sorry. Anton, what's up? So, cooked beef. Well, Chris, that's all right. The guitar has Alnico verses which are okay, and if the beginning guitar doesn't really matter. Only concern is the three-way switch with no split call, so maybe not enough versatile. I see what you mean. You know, if let's say you have like a Gibson Les Paul style guitar, if there's no split coil, it could be for a reason also. It could be that the pickups are not powerful enough for split coiling. To be honest with you, I'd rather have low output pickups that are not suitable for split coiling than have really hot pickups that are, you know, dynamics killers. You don't get lots of dynamics, but you can split the chords and you get like a super hummy and noisy but cool clean sounds. But I mean, if you do have a metal guitar and you know that you want it for like high output humbuckers, then you can split coil. Okay, so if they aren't high output, then that explains why there is no split coil, because split coiling doesn't sound good with medium output pickups. So I would start with that, no problem. Maybe you don't need split coiling. I mean, split coiling, if you have low output pickups, then you can get away without split coiling, you know. Split coil is really something that is more needed when you have, like, I don't know, some, what's it called, Lawrence something, Dimebag Darrell pickup, or just your GB pickup, high output pickup. I'm not sure about the EMG 85 and 81s, the active pickups. If they can be split coil, they probably can. So yeah, sorry, I don't have better input. I don't know the guitar. Muito on Facebook, what's up? And we got my man, Fred Hinkle, what's up? Okay. PDF, how long does it take to memorize fretboard and improvise in any key? Are there any shortcuts? PDAV on Instagram is asking that. Yeah, exactly, Brian. Mark is right. There are no shortcuts, but there's definitely smarter ways you can do it. Oh, we have the Mixolydian question as well. And Brian Mark is also asking, I got a neck problem while looking so down at guitar. Should I practice no looking now? If yes, how should I start? So if you got a neck problem by looking like that, yeah, you got to change something. It's not only looking down. Well, maybe you're looking down a little bit too much, but yes, I mean, unless you're 15 years old, your body is gonna suffer from guitar playing. We're not meant to be playing guitar, unfortunately. I hate to say it. And posture is super important. Physical exercise is important. I couldn't play guitar without, especially not when I want to do the shreddy stuff. Then I need to do physical exercise on a daily basis. Otherwise, I can just give up on shredding, you know? So do yourself a favor. Have a good posture. If you need to look down, should be possible. There are some tools also that kind of let your body know when you do that. But if you take some pauses, also you can just have some stop or timer watch or something that, so you're not playing longer than 2 or 3 minutes in a row, and then take a break. That's usually when you're going to discover that your posture has gotten like this. All of those are good things. Physical exercise. Most importantly, warm up and never play when you feel pain. You know, all of those things are important. They come together. Okay, so I want to see here. Okay, so we had the question about memorize a fretboard and improvise in any key. Are there any shortcuts? That's a good question. I can only assume a lot of people might be wondering about that. Okay, so I think first of all, it might be an idea to clear out some misconceptions. I know it's easy to think when you see someone like playing all over the fretboard is it's tempting to think like, well, you know, I know my chords and they're good. With them I can play songs, but this dude there, he's not playing chords, he's playing scales. And with scales, I can learn solos. So I want to learn the scales, you know. That's all built on a misconception. It's true that if you learn some chords, you can play your first basic songs. It's not true that if you learn your first scales, you can play your first solos. Hey, you just played a solo there, so you're wrong. No, it's not the scale that made me play the solo, it's the licks, it's the patterns, it's the phrases. Just like, you know, just because you know a few chords doesn't mean you know a riff, like, you know. You know, just because you know C and A minor doesn't mean you can play that. It's the same thing with these scales, you know. The scales are not that useful. Okay, I've said it and I mean it. This is the biggest misconception. You know, the scales aren't helpful. So it's good that you want to learn, you know, scales all over the fretboard. I mean, that's a noble goal. I mean, I love playing all over the fretboard. But you don't really need the scales if you're asking the question. What you probably need is first learn a few licks that you can move around. Because once you can move around a few licks, you're gonna naturally become curious of those scales, you know, because they allow you to play the licks in different positions. But most people just learn the scales without knowing any licks. And it's like, what am I gonna do now? And then they forget the scale after a few weeks. They want to use this like, oh, I can't remember it. How do I memorize the scales? I don't remember it. Okay, so the reason you don't remember it is because you never learned it correctly in the first place. Just memorizing it isn't useful. You're going to forget about it because you're not going to be using it. What you need to learn are first examples of, you know, musical licks and solos. There's nothing better than that. Yeah, you gotta learn licks and solos. You gotta transcribe solos. You gotta spend a lot of time learning real lead material before you worry about scales. And you know what? If you do things in the right order, when you do attempt to learn scales, well, you might not even have to do that because you're gonna start recognizing that the same set of notes are used in licks by totally different people. It's like, they use the same notes. How could it be? Turns out they're using the same scale. And when that connects to you, you're just gonna instantly learn that scale and you're never gonna forget about it. So most people, I think, asking me about how do I learn scales, which scale do you play, or actually scratch that, but how do I remember scales? How do I play scales all over the fretboard? What you usually need to learn are licks, and then moving these licks around. So again, if I just played a scale all over the fretboard, you know, it wouldn't be very interesting. While I'm playing the scale, you could spend some time learning this. But to what use, you know? That's not what you want. What you want is this. Sure, it uses the scale, but more importantly, it uses licks, and that takes time to learn, much longer than the scale. Of course, I'm messing up all the time, but it still licks. So it's a bit like, I think the best comparison is, would you learn the alphabet before you can speak? Of course you wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. How long does it take you to learn to speak? Well, you have to consider that as a kid, we learn to speak usually in like, I don't know, 2 to 5 years or something, at least more fluently. And we practice like 12 hours per day, you know, listening to what the grown-ups are saying, listening to what the older kids are saying. So before you should worry too much about the language and notating the language of music, you should learn how to speak music. So how do you speak music? Well, you learn to play. And like I said, as a kid, it's like practicing at least 12 hours per day. It's a lot of impression. Then you dream about those words being said. And eventually you can say your first, Mama, I want food. You know, that takes time. It's the same with the guitar. You have to put a lot of hours and regular practice before you can start saying stuff on the guitar. And with that, I mean playing licks or... And not until you can do that is it really useful to start understanding, you know, theory and the language behind or the way to notate that music. So what I'm trying to say now in a super complicated and very long way is that don't worry about scales quite yet if you need to, you know, ask lots of questions about them. You probably don't need the scales. You need to put the time in and learn licks and patterns and phrases. And I think a lot of people watching this not only want to learn licks, but they also want to learn some shreddy licks, right? You want to be able to do something that has a bit more push to it, like something like that. And that's also not really a scale thing. It's a speed thing, right? You need to spend some time with the metronome doing. Think about how can I minimize the movement here. How do I make it fast? Well, I gotta turn that metronome on. Spend some serious time with it. And by the time you will reach this, you will have spent so much time with that thing, memorizing what you did is not going to be the issue. You're going to be able to play it in your sleep, you know, in terms of where to put the fingers before you can play it fast, because it takes a long time. So if memorizing scales across the fretboard is your problem, then you're probably not learning things in the right order. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry for being so long. Let me see what you guys are saying. So we have a lot of good questions on Instagram now. And you guys from YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, you can't see that. But I'm scrolling Instagram and I just started to learn theory, says P. David, and learning the fretboard seems impossible. Yeah, so you can wait with that. Don't worry. And thanks for the great questions, by the way. Antonio is saying, for me, it was helpful to look at the patterns while I played. Visual memory can help. Then your brain and muscle begin to memorize them and you won't need to look at the patterns anymore, for sure. I mean, scale diagrams are a visual representation of like where to put your fingers on the fretboard. So if you're interested in learning just where to put your fingers, then scale diagrams are the best way, for sure. Cool. How should your 1 or 2 hour practice look like? Very cool. So a shameless plug here, if you're interested in the details, I actually have a course on that called Smart Practice, and you can find it on my Christopher Dahl site. There I basically structure out the different practice routines and give you a ton of detailed instructions and tabs and stuff like that. But I'll try to convey the best of it here. I'll just take a short playing break to rest my brain, and then we can speak about a 1 or 2 hour practice session. Oh, by the way, hey there, Kana. Good to hear you like the blues. Maybe I gotta freaking tune this thing. Maybe change the strings as well. Who knows? Oh, change of key. C sharp minor. Okay, so how do you practice, or how do you structure your practice routine? That's a great question. And while it's true that you need to put a lot of hard work into your playing, it's also true that you can be more or less smart about it. And it's actually true that it makes a huge difference. Regardless of which, you're never going to escape spending time with it. But I would say that shouldn't be a problem. Your practicing should be fun. I always structure my practicing so that it's fun. I know if it's not fun, no use in doing it at all. I'm just going to put the guitar down. So that's the number one rule. So be sure to structure a practice routine that is somewhat based around things you love listening to, you know? If you love listening to Yngwie Malmsteen, then, you should structure your practice routine so that the licks and patterns and exercises kind of revolve around his playing style. Even though if it's simplified, that's what you should do. And you're never going to be able to escape putting those hours in, okay? That's the reality of it. But you can very well put the hours in and not get a lot of results. That's also true. And if I'm going to be a little bit extreme about it, let's say you never practice with a metronome, so you never practice with a steady pulse. You never take the time to learn new material like in chunks, so you get every part right before connecting them. And you don't practice new material like in your comfort speed or below your comfort speed. You always push speed because you want it to sound cool. Hey there, Silun. So if you do all of those things, you could very well practice several hours per day and become a super lousy guitarist. Trust me, it's perfectly possible. So those are things you want to avoid, especially if you have like 1 or 2 hour routine. Now, I was going to say something, but I think I lost it. Now, here's the thing. The structure of 1 or 2 hour practice routine has to be extremely tailored to where you are at and where you want to go. So you really don't want to grab just someone else's routine from some random dude on the internet. Because chances are this person is not going to be at your current skill level, may it be, higher or lower. That person is not going to have the same musical preferences as you. And also that person maybe doesn't have the same preferences in terms of how he or she likes to practice. So it makes a lot of sense for you to understand these things and then put your own kind of routine together. Now I know what I was going to say when I when I lost it there, is that there's a huge difference between practicing 1 hour or 30 minutes per day and being focused, and practicing 3 hours per day just, in front of the TV, for those of you who are old enough to know what that is. But, just not care about what you're doing, that doesn't take you anywhere, and I've seen it so many times, even if you don't have a lot of time. Maybe you have some work or school, whatever, that you hate, but it eats up all your time. You have no choice. What you can do is use that time, or part of it, to think of how you're going to practice once you get those 30 minutes with the guitar. Trust me, you will beat those who have 4 hours, but who don't care really what they're doing. So again, it's not the amount of time you have, it's how focused you are. It's how smart you are about that time, This is really key, I would say. And when you practice your routine, if you put all of this together, you can be 100 times more effective than someone who doesn't know about this stuff, who just Googles for something, finds a routine, and I'm going to do those exercises because they said it was good. Yeah, this is good. My fingers get to practice. I mean, sure, they get to practice, but what are the odds you're going to keep doing that until you can master it and think it's enjoyable? They're close to zero. You are going to put the guitar down way before you get any use of these exercises. So again, your plan has to be focused towards what you love playing and listening to. Even if it's on a super simplistic level, there still has to be a relation between your plan and your end goal. Not because, I'm smart and I said it, but because you're going to put the guitar down otherwise. It's the only way you'll keep on practicing, unless you're one of those 0.0001% who just is amazing at everything, but most of us aren't. So we need to focus, we need to be smart about how we practice. So yeah, put all that together and you're going to get a good routine. When I was playing the acoustic before my hiatus, I could never hammer on pull-off. I think it's because I wasn't hammering on too hard. Is it easier to do on electric? Yeah, it's easier to do on an electric, but I don't know if you can hear that. I'm not amplified now. You can still do it. I can do this on the acoustic as well. So it's definitely possible, but a little bit easier. I think if you're struggling with hammer-ons and pull-offs, for hammer-ons, it's not about strength so much, it's about hitting the string with the right part of your finger, so the edge, and hitting the right part of the string. That takes time, and most people try to do that too fast. So if you do that super slowly and make sure to hit right before the fret wire, you will get a better tone regardless of whether you're playing acoustic or electric. Hey, Guitar Bustion, what's up? Okay. I learned by myself guitar and I stuck in this way and want to improve how I play solos exercises. Cool. That sounds like me. Brian, can you repeat? My internet cut off. Which part? You can watch the replay. I'm gonna upload it on Instagram just like an hour or so after we're done, and you can instantly check it on YouTube if you want to go there. That's a nice Telecaster. I would like to get myself one of those. Cool. Yes, this is a T-style guitar by Fujigen, an Iliad standard. It's scalloped. Scallop feels awesome, Athala. I scalloped it myself. You can see. So it's not an even scallop. In fact, I only scalloped it where I said you should hammer on, because that's the only real place where you need that space to, not hit the wood with your fingertip. But I was going to say something, because the question was about hammer-ons and pull-offs. Pull-offs is another beast, because a lot of people assume that, if you hammer on like this, then pulling off would just be the opposite. So they lift their finger. But check this out. Okay, good sound. What happens if I just lift the finger? Nothing happens. One more time. Okay, good sound. Lift the finger. It just doesn't sound. So lifting the finger is clearly not enough. What we need to do is a downward movement, like this. Whoa, sound. So let's say I'm playing here and I hammer on the 12th fret, and then I do a downward movement. Very nice. Hammer on from above, pull off down. Guitar Bastion is saying, also, you should have a defined timeline to stream. Yes, that's actually something people have started requesting. I don't really see myself doing that because I just think it's more worth to you guys if I go into these live streams in a good mood. Otherwise, you know, when I'm just sitting here pissed off, that doesn't really help anybody. But what I was thinking about, maybe just have some simple email lists, so at least I could email like an hour before I stream, because I usually know like 1 hour before. But who has an email? I mean, I do, but would anybody check that? If there's interest, I could do that. But I would need to know that there's some people interested, because it's a bit of work, you know, getting the internet forms up. So you have to collect the emails. It has to be in a database, and then I have to email them out. So it's a bit of work, but if you're interested, I could do that. Yeah, the Legato guitars are usually hard to get a hold of, but the best is if you have like a cheap guitar, you can try it yourself. It's not impossible. We keep getting some excellent practice-related questions on Instagram, so I'm going to read it so everybody can hear them. Yeah, we got Dead Man's Wife here. What's up? It's true that YouTube sends notification, but that's when I'm going live. I think what people are requesting is a bit of like a forward notification, or a notification in advance. And since I do these spontaneously, that's hard for me. But like I said, I do know like 1 hour in advance. But, you know, I don't really like sitting down and posting stories to all my social media. Oh, going live soon, you know, because by the time I finish the 4 stories, I'm just not into the mood anymore. So, but an email could work, you know, if I have a simple email list, that could be a thing, but I doubt people are going to sign up to that email list. I think we'll have like 5 people. Maybe. Cooked beef is also interested in more live streams. Well, you know what, cooked beef, I do them on a daily basis now. So I think that's what people are requested. Like, okay, you do these every day, but I only catch them every 3 days. So when are you going to do the next one? And I do see the problem there. I just don't have a very good solution for it right now. YouTube will give 1 hour notice of live. 1 hour, yeah, but I think that's if you post an event. I mean, even YouTube doesn't know when I'm going to go live. You know, I just go live. So, yeah. Oh, that's an interesting question by Cooked Beef. What is my favorite guitar in my collection? I get that a lot. It's so hard to answer. You know, if I had a favorite guitar, I wouldn't need like having 15 guitars. The ones I use the most recently are the ones with single coils. And in fact, if I were to get new electric guitars, I would probably like get like a P90 guitar or more single coil guitars. It just seems to be what I'm gravitating towards. But the favorite one, I can't tell you. I mean, I've used this one the most, and maybe the red Strat. So probably. But are they my favorite guitars? No, they're my workhorses. I like them a lot. But you know, the Gibson, I don't play it as often, and right now it needs some adjusting as well. But it probably sounds the best out of all, with just like, for, you know, like rhythm and big chording and that kind of thing. So I can't tell you, sorry, man. One thing, I had a friend over here who had, you know, he's been playing for probably all his life. Not like me, where I've been obsessed for decades, but he's still been playing. And he's my age. And he has like that's not acoustic and electric guitars. But he was really surprised that my electric guitars sounded different. It's like, oh, they sound different? Like, yeah, they sound totally different. So when you realize that, it's like, oh man, okay, now I know why I've seen people with 50 guitars, because they're different. Not only, if you manage to find a guitar or two guitars that sound the same, chances are they're gonna feel different to play as well. So there are so many factors that go into a guitar in terms of sound and feel. So, you can have millions and still, yeah. Just a second, I'm hearing voices here. I need to know if it's in my head or if there are voices outside. Good news, guys, the voices were in my head. Oh, maybe that's not good. Anyhow, no voices. They were in my freaking head. What am I gonna do? Okay. Did you ask the 44-year-old friend about the left hand? No. What was I gonna ask about the left hand? I'm not sure he was 44. He's a little bit older than me. 47. I'm 44. Or maybe he's 49. No, but he was surprised about no, I think that's like an internal joke, but I might have forgotten about it. No, he was surprised about the different sounds, and I was the same, It took me, like 10 or 15 years into my playing career before I truly believed that, Stats and the Les Pauls sounded very different, and that it wasn't down to the amp or something like that. I just didn't believe it, and I just didn't believe about, that there was any point in having 10 different amps and 50 different pedals. Like, that's the most stupid thing I've ever seen, And it's true that you can be a successful studio musician or something with much less, But it's also true that all those combinations give you new possibilities, That's just the way it is. And when you realize that, you get a little bit annoyed, but then you get intrigued and you understand that you're gonna have to spend a lot of money buying stuff. You have voices in your head as well. Well, he's about my age. He's a little bit older. Okay. So let's see what Instagram is saying. Do I need to practice one thing like 30 minutes in a day? Like only scale, then only bending, then picking exercises? So that's a good way to do it. I mean, for me, that worked when I was younger and had like a fixed schedule. I was playing like anywhere from 3 to like 8 hours per day. That's bordering dangerous, by the way, both for your mental health, but also your physical health. So I had that structure where I did like 30 minutes something, 30 minutes next thing. And yeah, it was very technique oriented. So like I probably did like five minutes of picking, then 5 minutes of legato, and then 5 more minutes of picking, but this time 2 notes per string and not 3, and then 5 minutes of tapping and that kind of thing. I did that a lot. And again, the content of that is very hard to say something generic about. It depends where you are now and where you want to take it. It's a big topic. But that kind of structure worked for me, but ultimately it's not guaranteed to work for you. These days that would never work for me. For now, it's always, for me, it's just finding a sound that inspires you and maybe finding a specific groove or backing track. So I'm inspired to start playing, and once I start playing, then I have this long list of stuff that I need to improve, in my head mostly. And that list changes all the time. You know, you listen back to yourself, it's like, oh, you know, that vibrato sucked, or I couldn't play that clean, and that kind of thing. And then I try to fix that, but in a musical setting, you know? So if I don't really do it in that order, just sit down and try to fix something, maybe that would work if I, you know, had a stress schedule before recording for a gig or something. But that's not really how my schedule works these days. For me, it's mostly about being creative, you know, so I can come up with new content for my channels and stuff like that. So yeah, I need to find something that inspires me, and then I sit down and I start playing. And the playing is both about being creative and coming up with new stuff, but also fixing problem areas. And that's what you get to see me do in real time here. A lot of time when I warm up, I focus on stuff that is difficult. So for example, when I play this kind of thing, you know, I don't know, maybe it seems innocent, but what I'm really doing is like playing one or two string arpeggios clean. That's one of the hardest things you can do. So it's a great warm-up thing, you know. Sweeping would be easier, right? But even sweeping, I think a lot of people who can do it might be able to do it fast, but they can't play it super clean slowly. Do I have a guitar academy? I do. Probably too many. I started the guitarmasterclass.net community like 15 or 20 years ago. And, you know, at times that was like the biggest guitar learning online community. Now it's not, you know, it's not my main thing, but I still do upload lessons there. And we have like 100 other instructors that have worked with me throughout the years. So that would be the academy, but I also have my own courses, and they're more like the intimate setting that we have here, but much more in depth, right? Because I have a structured learning path that I'm trying to take you through. So yeah, so that would be my courses on the christopherdahl.com site and the guitarmasterclass.net website. You can find links to all of these just if you go to my bio. The bio. Okay, still trying to catch up on the Instagram comments here. I saw one of your guitars where the scallops are near the next fret and not across the whole fret. Yeah, exactly, Ballad. That's it. And it's super great for not removing unnecessary wood. So it looks like, I don't know, these kind of waves or something. I don't know how you would describe it. Oh, Silung, you got a Tele Deluxe, like a Fender Deluxe? That's awesome, man. I'd love to have a Fender Tele, to be honest with you. The bio. How many Strats do I have? I guess 2, but just one Fender Strat, one S-style guitar by Vintage, and then I have, well, I mean, I've been working with the Enya Music and their new X-Mary. That's like a Strat, but with humbuckers. Pretty cool sounding guitar. So I guess that would be like a hot Strat maybe. Please don't let it be in his head. He's too good of a guitar teacher to go on asylum. It was in my head, damn it. I play gigs and want to play original for my band. What could I practice to improve musicality? So the absolute best answer to that question can be found in your record collection. But because no one has record collections anymore, you would have to go to Spotify. And your favorite playlists, your favorite artists, listen to them, play with them, learn to play like them. Although I don't do that anymore, that's the only way to do it when you're starting out. You have all the answers in terms of musicality there. So let's say you're really new and you just need to learn what the heck you're going to do with the guitar, then you would just learn songs, right? As you get better, you can start to learn the fills, you can learn the licks and everything, you know. But let's say you're in a position where you want to, you know, output more, and you want to use the stuff you've learned throughout the years and create solos and you know, just find the pocket. Well, you can still make use of your favorite songs because playing those 3 notes in the right spot in the song, that is fantastic practice. And trust me, if you play with your favorite songs, you're going to hear when you're just messing everything up. And all of a sudden you might hit a note and you're going to think, wow, maybe the original song would have been better with that note included. That's when you know you're onto something. So that would be the idea. That would be, I think, the best short answer. Flayzoner, et bonjour tout le monde. Comment allez-vous? The exercise that you do with the metronome. I wouldn't say it's called anything specific. Well, I was with this. I was doing like I was playing triplet arpeggios with alternate picking. A lot of times you're going to be doing that with sweep picking. So. You know, so I'm practicing, that was sweep picking, but you know, you can do it with alternate picking. So down, up, down. That's very hard when just playing the 1 note per string. I'm playing that clean. See, I messed up. So there's a place where I messed up. So instead of just playing that over and over and mess up and just really, what's the word? Reinforce that bad habit and make it part of your style, which kind of sucks. You would stop the metronome and see, okay, what didn't work? Turns out it's this thing, which is nearly impossible. I hate those, like, mini bar with, that's very hard to do. So I try to maybe do this instead. I can't even play it. So this is an example of something I should maybe focus on. But I have a cheating version, which is, but it's not really, it doesn't sound the same. Anyhow. How many languages do you speak, mate? Let me guess, 9. You spoke German, Swedish, I assume your mother tongue, French, English. What? No, it's not that bad. I just speak, I guess, 3 languages, though my French, I haven't spoken French for a very long time, but I went to French school for several years. So it's just Swedish and English and a bit of French. But I try to, whenever there's someone tuning in from, like, you know, like Germany or like a Spanish-speaking country, then I try, but I suck at it. I trust me, I'm not fooling anyone from those countries. Okay, so Guitar Bustion, if you want to have something to improve, I can show you all guys this kind of thing, right, with major triad arpeggios. So my favorite shape, I might have shown it before to you, but it's this major triad. So C major, and I'll show you the arpeggio, and then you can try playing it with the down and up strokes. So 15th fret A string, and then 14 next fret, 15th fret A string, then 14 on the next string, 12, 13, 12, 15. So again, 15, 14, 12, 13, 12, 15. That's the arpeggio. What you're gonna do now is try to do down, up, down, up, down, up, and then just keep going. This is what I said was hard. I think it's hard at least. Play those arpeggios up and down, especially with a bit of swing, you know. It's you might do. You don't do. Like, yeah, you can sweep as well, but that's easier. The alternate picking is much harder, and it's a different thing. You can't really phrase like this, you know, whatever with sweeping. So they do different things. Sweeping is more like you want to shred, but if you want to phrase, you know, you can't really, or I can't do that with sweeping. Sweeping is not good for accenting and controlling each note. Sweeping is pretty much only good for like fast and aggressive playing. You don't even need sweeping. You just want to play arpeggios fast. It's when you want to add that attack. Gives you a specific sound. So economy picking in this case is sweeping, right? Because we're playing one note per string. My playing is so economic and efficient, it can literally fix the world economy. I like it. President Sweeper. So, Afala is asking on Instagram, how long were you stuck in the intermediate plateau, assuming you were even in the plateau? I was, and I am. You know, it depends on what, you know, the shreddy stuff I'm doing here, I'm used to it, but there are a lot of areas where I'm still intermediate or even beginner. You know, I don't know, some jazz rhythm guitar, for example, or something. So it's very hard to, you know, say something generic, and it's even hard just to define what intermediate and advanced is. But I do get the question, you know, or I do understand where you're coming at. Before you can really, you know, feel proficient at something, I think it was when I started really dedicating hours of practice, and before I started feeling advanced at anything, I would assume at least like 3 or 4 years. But in reality, I was still really bad after 3 or 4 years of like intense practicing. But I think I could have my moments, right? And maybe I was able to, you know, record something that sounded a bit cool. But I think probably like 10 years before I could maybe convey the impression of being more advanced, you know. It's very hard to tell. And, you know, I have bad days where I certainly don't feel like I'm in anything more than intermediate playing. You know. Let's see, we had one more ballad here. Let's try it. any notes. Okay guys, so I think I need to stop before my brain implodes and I hear even more voices. Guitar Bustin', you can definitely share a clip with me and I can comment on your playing. And especially if you're playing any of the content that I've uploaded, like the shorts, stuff like that, then I can even repost your video on, I think it's probably Instagram and Facebook that allows that kind of stuff. But you can just, you know, if you just want to share a link with your playing, you can do that on any platform, obviously. Cool, guys. So this was a very fun session. We covered a lot of ground, and I especially want to thank Instagram for all the great comments today. But we had comments from all over the place. You guys are great. You have, hopefully where you are, you still have some time left this Sunday to practice. Go for it. Herbert, go hard. Guitar Bustin', if you check my shorts, I have from all levels. I even have some like just 2-chord riffs, very slowly played, so you can find a bit of everything. I'm sure you can find something that matches your level if you want to play my stuff. Yeah, so I hope we'll meet soon again. Have a good Sunday. Practice hard. See ya.